everything and everything works. One thing that, I mean, we set everything to a pretty good level, but as you kind of go, you might adjust it a little bit here and there as you know, we didn't test obviously with an audience or anything like that, so sometimes things are a little different.
Sure.
But I can kind of go over what each mic is going to be and what each output is going to be, where it's going, whether it's the speakers or the web stream and all that. Really, this is all kind of just gear up here. You don't need to really touch any of this. But I did label what each receiver are for the new microphones. Not much else you need to know about there. Mostly it's going to be right here, and most of it you won't have to touch. There's a lot of dials and everything on here, but mainly it's going to be this bottom row. So we'll go over each mic one by one and kind of move down the line. So I have two Lavalier mics, Lav 1 and Lav 2. I put right there.
Oh, they're
correspond to
labeled too.
these.
Wow.
1 and 2.
Very nice.
We have podium left and right. I left it what it was originally labeled, where it's actually like audience left and right. So if you're looking at it, this is right, that's left. Some people prefer like the stage left and right.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
I don't know if you, so I can usually change that if you care.
No.
You're just fine.
Okay.
I've been used to that way because when pastor would say right or left, I'm like, my right or your right? Because he's facing a different direction.
Yeah, so this is if you're looking at the front
Okay.
there, rather than if you're standing up there. We have choir 1 and 2, which are the hanging mics above the choir there.
Okay. They've always been there.
They've always been there, yeah. So we just took the same line in and tested those.
Okay.
I have what's called bells 1 and 2. These are new, and it's actually going to be on the other side of this wall. We ran this cable through here, and there's two connections right here called bells 1 and 2. The top one's 1, bottom one is 2, and they'd be for these microphones because I think you wanted additional microphones for the bell choir.
Nice.
So we'll go over this afterwards, but I have a variety of cables that I can leave here as well with this, and it won't be necessarily a permanent thing, but you can have them be set up. And we could also discuss whether you want this just going to the web stream or if you need additional audio from the bells in here.
Just the web stream.
Okay, that's what I was thinking, but
in here it sounds good.
Yeah.
it would probably feedback or something if you had it in here, because it probably is plenty loud. So
Yeah.
this will just be going to the web stream.
Okay.
Okay.
Is there a strip or something to put over top of that? Because I would imagine they'll be walking behind, and I just don't want anyone to trip on that. So
On the cable?
on the cable, right? Unless we have.
There's
some-
not, but it's detachable from the wall here.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, it's detachable from the wall?
yeah.
Oh,
just
so it'll
like
only
we
be
need
set
it.
up
The days they need it.
Okay.
one Sunday a month.
One Sunday, I suppose.
Okay.
Yeah, we can always get, sometimes you have
Those rubber strips
Yeah.
that lay on
You can
top,
yeah,
or that you
Okay.
feed the wires through.
yeah. Just thinking, just
Yeah.
so no one trips on it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And then, I guess, backing up here, the choir microphones, did you have these just going to the web stream, or is it going to be through your speakers as well?
No, that did go through the speakers.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's how we have it now,
Okay.
so I'll leave that. So, and we have audience mics. I put them just on one fader.
Okay.
They're the new mics that you'll see against the wall here.
Okay.
So there's
Those
one.
are
Oh,
black,
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And those will be just going to the web stream as well.
Can't wait
So
for
crying
Sunday.
babies in the back row,
Yeah.
right?
Sweet.
And we have it set really low because they're pretty powerful mics and you don't need to hear a whole lot, just kind
Yeah.
of a little bit of background. And then we have handheld, which is this microphone right here. And that will go to everywhere as well. These are nothing, so you don't have to worry about that. Any questions on the input side?
Is that, so, that's just for in here and not for?
It does go over there
It
as
does
well.
go over there as
Yeah.
well, okay.
So I can show
yeah, I
you
was
that.
gonna
Okay.
ask if you could turn that one up a little bit, because on Wednesday it was pretty weak.
In the lobby?
Yeah.
Okay.
You had to almost stand in front of the speakers to hear it.
Okay.
So yeah,
Yeah.
if we could turn that one up.
So I have 3 outputs here. I called one Sanctuary, just in here. We can relabel it if you want to. I have one called Lobby, which was the lobby
nurses.
area. This, I've noticed, is good right about right here for our levels, just because the way the amp is and the speakers are. You don't want this one at 0. It was really loud, so I put this one at 15. I could put like a little sticker or something here.
Oh, that might be a good
If you
idea.
want, just to,
Sharpie.
like,
Because we'll have to adjust that as we
Yeah.
go, or if it gets bumped or something.
yeah. So if you want to maybe it's a little quiet, you can bring it up a little bit, or a little too loud, you can bring it down. But
Sure.
about 15 is where I would leave it. Yeah, I'll put a sticker there as well.
So that's for all the speakers in the sanctuary,
Yes.
Yeah.
and then that's for each individual microphone. Is this?
Mm-hmm. So,
Okay.
and this is just for the lobby, and then this one's just for the web stream. And these are pretty good at 0, but again, if you have like a quiet speaker, it's like, all right, let's bring it up a little bit or something like that. You won't probably have to do much of that, but I'll keep these on actually.
So number 1 is going to be Pastor Zach. So he's pretty quiet.
Mm-hmm.
And if we decide, you know what, we have a full house like Easter Sunday,
Yeah,
we need to bump him up a little bit.
Yeah.
How would we do that?
right here.
Okay.
Because it would be just that microphone you'd want to
Okay,
bump
so
up.
that's just his.
Yeah, so maybe he's a little quiet. You can kind of just bring it up a little bit and
Okay.
adjust from there.
So Sunday morning, when he starts talking, if people, you're gonna have to
Yeah.
come in and do that.
Yep. Well, we're sitting in the front, so I'll probably come back here because you can hear him really good in the front. But if you
Yeah.
come back here, then you can't hear him as well. So okay.
Yep.
I've set so that'd be kind of the only thing you would have to touch. These mean that the microphone is on. I wouldn't touch those buttons. Otherwise,
Just leave them on all the
just
time. Is that what you?
leave them on all the time. Yeah.
Okay.
These 3 are down because there's nothing connected to them. Everything else in the middle you don't really need to worry about. There's a lot of aux and dials like that, and adjusting some of the settings there. But the other thing I've set pretty close are the gain levels. I probably wouldn't mess with those too much because it's significant changes in the audio. So we've set those pretty close where you really can make the smaller tweaks from right here.
Okay.
But that is there if you know a lot about mixers, you know, that could be helpful, but I probably wouldn't change too much because it could screw some things up. Let's see. So for all the aux sends, we're only using 2 aux outputs. One of them is going to be going to this Williams sound device, which is these for people with hard of hearing.
Okay.
I don't know if you use them often, but
Yeah.
They use them every Sunday.
okay.
Yeah.
But we tested those, and those will sit up here in their chargers, and there's just those pieces there. Some people have their own earpieces as well. They can plug in as well.
Okay.
We walked around the whole room and made sure that worked.
Okay.
The audio to get to those is this dial here. You probably don't need to change it, but I put Williams Sound there just so you know.
Okay.
It's pretty much that, and it's going to get... Actually, I'll probably turn off... They don't need to hear the audience mics. They probably don't need to hear the bell mics for those either.
Nice.
So where are the levels for that on here?
Those are going to be on this actually, but the actual level...
They just do everything on there. We wouldn't touch it back here.
You wouldn't touch it back here. They turn it on and then plug the thing in. We set like around 2.5 seemed like a pretty good level, but you know if someone wants it even higher, they could.
Okay. So that's all on rechargeable batteries. There's no replacing or anything.
It's rechargeable batteries. Yeah, they are like AA ones, so you could put your own in.
If we
if you
had
wanted.
to, but we got okay.
So I don't know if Sunday morning you want to bring them out, or I didn't know they were going to be different and rechargeable and be in
either.
here. So I don't have anything in the bulletin, but next week I can put in the bulletin that if you need, you know, the hearing assist to ask an usher or an elder.
Okay, we don't have to live them back here. We can move them anywhere else. They're just plugged into the charger right now.
Sure. Oh,
So-
okay. But well, and to keep them charged.
But you can move them on Sunday and then move them back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can talk with Dennis too on Sunday morning or Sunday morning and
Yeah.
And then
Well, and I'll
if
take the
people-
old ones out, and then if somebody's looking for them,
Sure.
then
Then we know where
you
they're
and
at.
Dennis know
Yep.
where they're at.
Perfect.
Okay.
The second aux is for that back room, and I haven't put a label on there yet. Is there, what do you call that back room? Is there a
The fellowship hall.
fellowship hall? Okay, I'll put something right here that says
Oh.
fellowship
Okay.
hall. That's pretty much set here. You won't have to change anything. It's just the dial back there. We tested and we turned it up a little ways so we can make sure it worked. So I'll put fellowship hall right there. And so that's what these 2 aux outputs are for. Let's see. that's really most of it. Most of it you won't have to actually change, and I'll of course double check all of these before I go to make sure that everything is sent correctly. Any questions about that?
Is there a main power on, power off that we should be?
Yeah, I was gonna ask that. Because everything
you do
just
that,
stay
you do that with
on.
the old one. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, we turn it on or off or
Yeah.
whatever, but
You don't need to, but yeah, there's not like a main for everything. There is.
Okay.
This is for the amp that's going to the speakers,
Okay.
and then there is like a switch on top of here that turns the mixer on and off. But you don't really need to turn it on or off. It's not gonna.
it's not going to hurt to
It's
keep
not
it
that much.
going.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Um,
That makes it probably easier just to
Leave it
yeah.
alone.
leave it on the
Yeah.
whole time.
If the power goes off, it'll just come back on, just like a regular.
It should
light?
because it's
Okay.
just a switch. I mean,
Okay.
maybe you'd have to press the power on those. I'm not sure, but like this and the mixer will actually stay on.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't. They're just the switches, so
All right.
they'll power right back on. Yeah, that's the most of it. I wanted to make it as mostly
Okay.
automatic as I could be, so you don't need to change too
So there's
much.
nothing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So really, just the first couple Sundays, just to make sure everything's as it should be.
Right.
It might be where the first couple Sundays you're like, all right, we got to adjust this a little bit. And
Mhm.
maybe this should be there instead. Maybe this should be right there. But it won't be too different. It's kind
So
of
once again, this is dumb, but you go down to go higher and up to go.
you go down to go lower. Yeah. So this is off right
Quieter.
And higher
Okay.
now.
up.
Yeah.
But right now you have them on pretty close to high. Is that what you're expecting then?
Usually you want to set the gain so that like 0 sounds pretty good when you have these set to 0.
Okay, so that's where it's at is 0.
That's where they're at is
Okay.
0.
And this is at negative 15, which is good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
So 0 is kind of like where it should be. Okay.
Yeah, and I'll make sure because this one's different because this is the in-house speakers. Let's see. Yeah, that's mostly it, I suppose.
Okay.
Any questions? I do want.
Had you tested it with the so online, thinking about online for
Mhm.
Sunday?
Oh, we did on Wednesday.
You did on Wednesday. Okay.
Wednesday, Pastor had used the new mic